Bob Dorso. I'm the chairman of the board of the Woodbridge Metro Chamber of Commerce. Welcome. On behalf of the board, the Chamber Board, I am pleased to welcome everyone to the 11th Annual State of the Township Address, presented by the Honorable Mayor John McCormick. At this time, I'd like to ask the members of the Chamber Board, if they would, to please stand. We want to recognize all of you. Big round of applause. Joining me at the head table today are Father William Smith, pastor of St. Anthony of Padua, Irene Conti, Investors Bank, Barry Berdiger of Rothenberg Merrill, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, Assemblywoman Yvonne Lopez, Freeholder Director Ron Rios, and of course the man of the hour, the Honorable John McCormick. At this time, I'd like to take a moment to recognize and introduce some other elected officials who are with us today. State Senator Robert Smith. There he is. Edison Mayor Tom Lanke. Metuchen Mayor Jonathan Bush. Thank you to all of our elected officials for their service to our community. I'd like to invite Father Smith to lead the invocation.
Let us pray. Lord God, we give you thanks and praise as we gather to listen to the 2018 State of the Township of Woodbridge. We thank you for the members of the Woodbridge Chamber of Commerce and the support that they give to all the businesses of our community. May all the businesses continue to thrive and grow as it supports the citizens of Woodbridge. May the township officials and government, the chamber, and all businesses of our community continue to work together for the good of the citizens and the community of Woodbridge. May we always be mindful of the residents who are on the margins. Be with the mayor as he presents a vision for the future of Woodbridge. We ask this in God's name. Amen.
Thank you, Father. If you could, I'd like to introduce at this moment Barry Berdiger for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could, please stand.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Barry. The Chamber is the business voice for our community. We're here to assist you and provide opportunities for you to meet other businesses and develop relationships that may result in added business for your company. Before we hear from Mayor McCormick, I'd like to make a few announcements. We have several upcoming events. We have the phenomenal, widely acclaimed Women's Leadership Connection on March 15th. Yes, it's the Women's Leadership Connection, but I urge you, the gentlemen in the room, to participate. It is a great learning experience. That's at Colonia Country Club. The speaker is Jill Merriman. We have flyers on the table. If you've not attended one of these events, again, they are exceptional. We have the Chamber Walk to Washington. That will be set for March 1st and 2nd. The Woodbridge Metro Chamber of Commerce has always had a presence at this event, and we hope that we can continue that this year. I also want to remind you, all of our businesses, that the annual Have a Heart food drive is underway. Have a Heart challenges our businesses and residents to donate 214 pounds of food, or $214. We work to restock our food pantries. Many of the Chamber members have already contributed. If you haven't, please think about doing so. Every pound, every dollar makes a difference. The Have a Heart Challenge ends on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Contact the mayor's office for details. Everything does make a difference. You'll also find information on your table announcing the 350th anniversary of Woodbridge Township. The mayor's office is putting together a year-long series of events that will culminate in June of 2019 with a huge celebration. We're starting with a call for sponsors as we look to raise funds to support the 350th anniversary celebration. Please give consideration to sponsorships of the 350th anniversary celebration. Woodbridge Community Center business card drop-off. There's a drop-off in the hallway outside where you can place a business card. The winner will receive a 6-month free backerboard ad at the hockey rink. One last point of business, I'd like to thank the sponsors of today's luncheon. We appreciate your support of the Chamber and the annual State of the Township address. Atlantic Realty and Development Group. Where you at, guys? Well, welcome. Bayshore Recycling, right here. Berkeley College. Bush Law Group. PSE&G. CME Associates. Columbia Bank. McManaman, Scotland, and Bauman. Did I get it right? Competitive Power Ventures. Federal Business Systems. Ideal Mobile Home Community. Investors Bank. Hotels Unlimited. That's the way to do it. JFK Medical Center. Middlesex County Democratic Organization. Onyx Equities, LLC. James P. Nolan and Associates. Lightbridge Academy. Northfield Bank. Raritan Bay Medical Center. RSI Bank. Selective Benefits Group. Wegmans. Willens, Goldman and Spitzer. T&M Associates. And my family, J.J. Ellick Realty. Mayor McCormick's annual State of the Township address is always informative, geared to let us know what the administration has accomplished over the past year, and serves as a roadmap for the coming year. It now gives me great pleasure, honor, and privilege to introduce to you the Honorable Mayor of Woodbridge Township, John E. McCormick.
Thank you very much. I would like to start by thanking the Woodbridge Chamber of Commerce, not only for this afternoon's event, but also for another year of progress in working with the business community of Woodbridge Township. Karen Barnes as Executive Director and Nancy Drum as Membership Director have really helped our administration retain and attract business. And when companies see the relationship that we all have with each other, it gives them a great sense of comfort that they are picking the right municipality to do business in. I would like to recognize our former business administrator, Bob Landolfi, who retired on December 31st. Bob, for the last 13 years, including 11 while I was mayor, has been a steady rock in the operation of Woodbridge Township. As mayor, I am able to spend half of my time each week out of the office, but I could only do that knowing that Bob had everything under control operationally back in Town Hall. In his various going-away parties, Bob has been described as fair, ethical, hardworking, professional, reasonable, brilliant, positive, and just about every other flattering adjective somebody can come up with. Every other mayor I know has to run his or her town down to the most minute detail on a daily basis, but I didn't because of Bob's leadership. The mayor and council of Woodbridge can establish the vision for our township and follow through on that vision and let our business administrator, department and division heads, and rank and file employees keep the trains running on time and in Woodbridge on the fast track. Bob could not be here today, but let's give him a round of applause anyway. We are very, very fortunate in Woodbridge to have been able to replace Bob as business administrator with former Senator John Bennett, who actually served as governor of the state of New Jersey for 3.5 days back in 2002. I got to know John when Carol and I worked in Treasury while he was the co-Senate president, along with former Governor Dick Cody. These two gentlemen simply kept the state of New Jersey together during 2 very difficult years of a 2020 tie in Senate membership between the 2 major political parties. It was a recipe for disaster, but it turned out to be 2 of the most productive years in state history. Senator Bennett has 6 years as a Board of Education member, 14 in the General Assembly, and 10 in the Senate. He has been a BA in other towns and an attorney for many municipalities and school districts in central New Jersey, though none quite as busy as Woodbridge. He has hit the ground running, and he is a true problem solver with an unusual sense of humor that we are all just beginning to understand. Senator Bennett, please stand. By now, you all know the importance of Carolyn Ehrlich, not only personally to my career, but to the entirety of Woodbridge Township in her role as Chief of Staff and the head of our redevelopment agency. You will hear a lot of economic development success stories today with plans for the next year and beyond, and none of that happens without Carol. John Mitch, our Township Clerk, and John Haggerty, our Township Communications Director, round out the senior management team. Both are valuable advisors, and both have a wealth of government experience to help guide this township and move it forward. Our Monday morning senior staff meetings now include 1 Carol and 4 Johns. And although I might have uttered a wisecrack about that a few years ago, I will stay silent now. Would the 3 of you please stand? As noted earlier, the business operation of Woodbridge Township continues without interruption and without a hitch, thanks to the terrific leadership of our department and division directors and the 1,000 employees who work hard every day for our 100,000 residents. Our nationally accredited police department, led by Director Bob Hubner, Deputy Director Joe Niski, and new Chief Law Enforcement Officer Scott Kuzma, continues to be the best around, not just because I say so, but because people in law enforcement all over the country say so. Every 3 years, they pass with flying colors when evaluated by a national team of police experts. Would the leaders and members of our fantastic police department please stand? Dennis Henry and George Brew lead a public works department that generates 10 times as many compliments as complaints, When it comes to snow removal, garbage and recycling collection, park maintenance, and road paving, and I am not exaggerating. None of my peers here praise like I hear everything in Woodbridge, and they all wish they had a team like ours in their town. Last year, we changed our system of bulk pickups and suspended our garage sales to get people used to the new system. But this year, we are bringing back the neighborhood garage sales in the spring, although we still ask that residents call for a special pickup because we will no longer do them automatically. No other town offers these kind of services to their residents. If you are part of our outstanding public works team, please stand. Again, it is not just me as mayor bragging about how good our DPW is. Just ask anyone you know in another town if they get the services you get and if they feel they receive real value for the property taxes they pay. Nobody likes to pay taxes, and people usually think they pay too much. But in Woodbridge Township, there is incomparable value for the dollars sent to Town Hall every quarter. While you were talking to people from other towns, ask them if their kids have the opportunities in their towns like our kids do. Ask if they have anything even remotely like our Woodbridge Community Center, with an ice rink, roller rink, gym, track, pool, fitness equipment, batting cages, and miniature golf course. The center was recently given an extreme makeover, and it looks fantastic. New flooring, lighting, equipment, and programming make it the go-to place for our kids, families, and seniors. Ask if other towns make a major financial commitment every year to their youth leagues. Ask if their kids have summer camps and sports camps and daycare opportunities and before and after school care programs. Ask if their schools have new state-of-the-art turf fields, courts, gyms, tracks, and playgrounds. Ask if their town is building new soccer fields or if their town established a home for cheerleaders and wrestlers. Ask if they have a youth center with more on the way, or an outdoor park or a spray park. Ask if their recreation department implemented an AED program to provide defibrillators and facilities all over town, with another 24 in portable backpacks for our youth leagues. Ask if they have anyone working there like Vito Simaluka and Brian Molnar, who both have lived in this town their entire lives and both have worked only for the township since they were old enough to work. Vito and Brian and their staff make it great to be a kid in Woodbridge Township, and that makes it easier to be a parent here. Would Vito and Brian and anyone else in our recreation department please stand? Our library system in Woodbridge is like everything else, the best among its peers. Monica Eppinger joined us over a year ago and has made her presence felt in changing the dynamic of our libraries and bringing them the new technology they need to keep up with the needs of our students and citizens. Cynthia Knight and her staff keep bringing classic acts to the Barron Arts Center, and Lee Beckerman and his professional staff of videographers bring our residents all the action from township events, community meetings, sporting events and games, and other special events right to their living room on TV 35. Would Monica, Cynthia, and Lee please stand? Hundreds of employees work for our township in positions that are not as public and not as glamorous as police or public works or recreation. They collect our taxes, assess our properties, issue licenses and permits, clean our buildings and schools, run our judicial system, hire people, buy and pay for things, inspect our projects, run our computers, check our restaurants, cross people at intersections, prepare our financial statements, answer our phones, write our memos and reports, paint crosswalks, film our events, schedule poetry readings, and just handle the day-to-day operations of our local government and help our citizens in so many ways that people take for granted each and every day. Well, today we are not taking them for granted, and we want each and every one of them to know how much we appreciate the effort they put in each and every hour of each and every day to improve the quality of life in Woodbridge Township. Anyone who works for the great township of Woodbridge that has not stood yet, please stand now. Last year was a terrific one for our seniors. We closed on the purchase of the American Legion in Island to be our 5 branches senior citizen center, which will open this spring. And we closed on the purchase of the Ford's First Aid Squad, which will be our Hickory Senior Center, which will open later this year. By 2019, we will have 4 active, vibrant senior centers, along with Evergreen in Colonia and Sycamore in Port Reading. Seniors will choose a home-based center with priority for events, but be able to attend any of the other 3 whenever they want. Getting to and from the senior centers and our senior clubs will be easier with our expanded senior transportation. We added several new drivers and 2 new buses to our fleet, and we now offer better service than ever before after adding doctor visits and shopping on top of social trips like the farmers market, concerts, and fireworks. I have to admit that it took our team a while to convince me that we should take over senior busing from the County of Middlesex, but I should have known that Dennis Green and the Health and Senior Services employees would make sure it would work and work incredibly well. The seniors now rib me constantly by asking, "What took you so long?" Our very unheralded but not unappreciated multi-service program on aging will continue to offer programs and services to our homebound senior population. So in one way or another, we reach every single senior citizen in Woodbridge to help them meet their everyday needs. Delina Manor opened last year to rave reviews, and we are now planning Red Oak Manor next to this Sycamore Senior Center in Port Reading to offer additional living opportunities to our seniors who want to downsize from a single-family home into an apartment with fellow seniors while staying close to their children and grandchildren. Based on the demand at Delina, along with at Reinhardt Manor in Colonia, we will continue to look for other opportunities to build more senior housing in our town. Last year at the State of the Township, I said, and I quote, "Within a few months, we should be closing on the purchase of 86 Green Street in Woodbridge, a 20th century colonial home, which will serve as our long-awaited history museum. This year, I'm proud to say that within a few months, we should be closing on the purchase of 86 Green Street in Woodbridge, a 20th century colonial home, which will serve as our long-awaited history museum." The closing is finally set for April, and I want to thank Frank and Audrey LaPenta, Dan D'Arcy, and our township historian, Brenda Velasco, and the rest of our historical association for their patience in seeing this transaction through. A town of our rich 348-and-a-half-year history deserves to show it off in a facility such as the one we are planning. Speaking of that history, June 1st, 2019 will mark our sesquicentennial, our 350th anniversary as a township. A huge kickoff gala is being planned for June 1st of this year, followed by a year of fun-filled and historically themed events, which will lead to another big celebration on that date in 16 months. A year of events like these will take a commitment of time and resources, and we have coincidentally included some fundraising information and a free anniversary pin on your chairs today. I would like to thank our anniversary committee for all of your work so far and for what you will be doing for us for the next year and a half. Last year saw progress on our plans to revitalize the 60-year-old federal housing project on Bunns Lane, which will soon be renamed Veterans Lane. A third of the units were torn down, and new attractive units are being built, and another third will start this year. We are still working on financing for the rest of the project, which we hope to complete in a few years. Residents can already see the impact on their property values living next to new apartments instead of the unattractive buildings they are replacing. And I am proud to report that our abandoned house project, run by Carolyn Ehrlich and Dean Janowski, has not produced one single home yet that we have taken possession of in almost 2 years. And that is because almost 200 homes have been fixed up by banks and mortgage companies and returned to active use because of the pressure our program has put on them. We don't need to go to court to get actual possession of a dilapidated home to consider our project a success. We continue to work with Rutgers University on the multi-year project to turn the Blue Acres properties in the repetitive flood zones, that were purchased from the state and demolished into beautiful park-like settings with the natural habitat and trails and passive recreation. The wildlife has already returned to the area, and the impact of our work is already very obvious. Our engineer, Mike Gellin, and our floodplain manager, Tom Flynn, have done a phenomenal job in managing this project, and their knowledge of the topic is unmatched anywhere in local government. A section of land there will be turned into a vegetable garden with individual plots assigned to those families who are clients of our various food banks in town. People will be able to grow what they want and tend to their own gardens in an effort spearheaded by Maureen Jorgensen, a teacher at St. James School in Woodbridge, with help from the township, the Woodbridge Fire Department, and Eagle Scout candidate Dennis Abate. We are a township that takes the issue of hunger very seriously, and we now have 13 pantries that provide food banks or soup kitchens under the leadership of our very own Deacon Peter Barcelona, a health inspector by trade and a food bank advocate by passion. The two areas that we as an administration are most proud of in 2017, and that we will continue and expand in 2018, are our efforts with the special needs adult population and our efforts with the opioid addiction issue. Last year, we told the story of how a group of parents approached us about dealing with their special needs children who were aging out of the school system as they turned 21. We turned to Our House, Inc., which opened their 5th location in the state, to provide for these special citizens at the Cypress Center in Port Reading, a building donated to us by the Hess Corporation several years ago. Our House provides job training, life skills training, and social interaction to their clientele, most of which are Woodbridge residents. Their parents can rest easier knowing their children are closer and safer. There is nothing like hearing a mother say, "The township changed my child's life," and we have heard that. John Cook and Jimmy Carroll are working with our terrific special needs professionals in our local school district to make sure this building can also be used by our teenage population. Soon a small cafe will open there to give them opportunities to work and learn. And when the restaurant is open to the public a few hours a week, I expect all of you to make reservations. I love Costello's and Trattoria Venezia as much as anyone, but I guarantee you will have more fun at our new cafe with a turkey sandwich and a bag of chips and a soda served by one of our special needs citizens than at one of those fancy places for lamb chops or pork osso buco and a bottle of expensive wine. I am still trying to figure out, though, how to get Miller Lite on the menu in our new cafe. Our second big initiative in 2017 was the continuation of our opioid peer recovery coach program under the leadership of Dr. Bonnie Nolan. After experimenting with an outside service provider when we started, we decided to run the program ourselves. Today, we have hired nearly 20 township residents who are in recovery themselves as coaches. We now have the program in 5 different hospitals in our area, and we now are handling the program in 8 different Middlesex County municipalities. Our addiction coaches reach out to those who have overdosed, or in many cases to those who just indicate a need for help. They help find the person treatment either as a resident or outpatient, and they then become an advisor and mentor, and more importantly, a friend to those suffering from addiction. Bonnie and her team run not only a social night for those in recovery, but also sessions for the families of people in recovery. I have had the opportunity to attend some of those meetings, and people in our township truly appreciate the efforts of our team. There is nothing like hearing a mother say to us, "The township really saved my child's life," and we have heard that. Would Bonnie Nolan and Chris Powers and Sarah Me Del Val please stand and be recognized? We are also working not only as a township ourselves, but also with other businesses in Woodbridge to encourage companies to hire those in recovery. People deserve a second chance, and if we can help them get that chance, we are all in. Many of you attended the Chamber breakfast 2 years ago and heard Jordan Siegel speak of his experiences in one of the most heartwarming and impressive speeches I have ever heard someone give in my entire lifetime. Jordan and many of the recovery coaches are in attendance here today. Thank you for your service, and we appreciate what each of you mean to our town. Please stand and be recognized. Even students attending our elementary schools in Woodbridge know how good our township is. To prove that point, I recently challenged a few of them to a contest in the format of Are You Smarter Than a Woodbridge Fifth Grader? Let's see what happened.
Live from Maubie Street School in beautiful Woodbridge, New Jersey, the best town around. It's time for everyone's favorite family game show, Are You Smarter Than a Woodbridge Fifth Grader? Now let's meet our contestants. Contestant number 1, Divya. Contestant number 2, Tyler. Contestant number 3, Kayla. Contestant number 4, Shashrut. And contestant number 5, Mayor Johnny McCormick, otherwise known as Mayor Johnny Mac. Help me welcome our host.
I am Andy Marizio, and welcome to the show that pits a grown-up against kids to see if they really are smarter than a Woodbridge fifth grader. Are my contestants ready?
Ready!
Now remember, in order to be able to win this game, you must be able to buzz in quickly. Question 1. How long has Mayor McCormick been in office?
Oh, this is easy.
Mayor McCormick has been our mayor for over 11 years.
That is correct.
He was first elected on November 7th, 2006 and was sworn in on November 13th, 2006. In November 2007, he was elected for his own 4-year term, followed by another election in 2011 and another election in 2015. Mayor McCormick is in his 3rd year of his 4th term, and all the kids in my class hope he runs again in 2019. In fact, we hope he keeps running until we are all 18, and then we can vote for him. Or we can just ask Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin to pass a law that says all kids can vote. Yay!
Mayor, if you're going to be able to compete in this game, you must be able to buzz in quickly. That question was really in your wheelhouse.
Won't happen again.
Question 2. What has Mayor McCormick done for schools? Kayla.
That is an easy one.
Hey, I hit mine first.
You also have to be faster than a 5th grader, too. We have new turf fields for football and soccer, for baseball and softball. We have new tracks, new tennis courts, new gym floors, new cricket fields, new parking lots, and we especially love the new playgrounds at all the schools. My parents say our property values are really going up because our schools look so nice. Our playground is the coolest of all of them because we have a pirate ship that is really fun. What's weird is that the mayor does all things for athletes and he calls all sports on TV, but he's such a lousy athlete.
That is correct. Question 3. Can you name any new businesses that have moved to Woodbridge? Tyler.
Hey, I think mine's broken.
I don't think so. We have a whole bunch of new businesses. There are 2 giant Amazon warehouses in Avenel. Arizona Iced Tea is going to open up this year. Main Street has a new sub shop and a smoothie place, and pretty soon there will be a new donut shop. Downtown Fords and Colonia and Island all have new businesses, and Avenel is going to have a new art center and theater. We have a new trampoline place that is terrific, and new pizza places, and a new McDonald's, and a new Wendy's. There's a lot happening in this town.
Yes! I'll tell you what, you kids are giving some great answers today. You're on fire.
And by the way, I think the mayor should stay away from McDonald's.
Question 4. Mayor Mack, I know that you're really anxious to play this game, but can you please wait to buzz in until after I read the question? Question 4. How many concerts did Woodbridge have last year? Divya.
Come on!
There were 63 concerts last year. There were 10 Monday night doo-wop shows to kick off the mayor's summer at concerts. Tribute Band Tuesday had another 10 super great shows. 11 groups took the Woodbridge Wednesday stage at Parker Press Park. The 9 best local bands around performed for Local Band Thursday. There were 4 really cool jazz shows for Friday Night Jazz, and 10 country music bands played for Country Sundays. We also had 2 bands at the annual fireworks show, and the Benjamins kicked off the mayor's summer concert season at the Woodbridge Community Center.
100% correct. That siren means that it's time for the final stage. Now, according to the rules, if all of our 5th grade contestants are tied at the end of the final stage, we will read one final question. Now, if any of you answer correctly, the 5th graders will win. But if our grown-up, Mayor Mack, answers correctly, he will steal the game.
That's not fair.
Because the rules were written by grown-ups.
Get your buzzer hands ready. This is the final stage question. Why is Woodbridge the best town around?
Come on!
Everybody knows this one. The police department's the best.
Our public works department is the best.
The recreation department is the best.
We will soon have 4 senior buildings, and we'll take care of our seniors.
That sounded like a 4-way tie.
Then we all win!
But let me ask the judges. And the judges agree. You are all winners.
Well, I guess Woodbridge 5th graders are smarter than the mayor. I'll just go back to what I do best, the Woodbridge State of the Township Address. As you can see, it really is true that TV adds 15 pounds. I would like to thank and recognize Mulberry Street School Principal Barbara Baylog and gym teacher MC Andrew Marizio for their help in putting together that video. And our terrifically funny students, Kayla Parinello, Tyler Simkovich, Divya Kumar, and Shishrut Sarpadar. You are great and smarter than the mayor. You have not heard me mention our planning department yet. Sure, they handle day-to-day business like all other departments. In fact, last year they handled nearly 6,000 permits and over $3.3 million in permit fees, representing a $264 million investment in Woodbridge. But their additional responsibility is to plan for the future of Woodbridge Township. What will we look like next year, in 5 years, in 10 years, and in 20 years? Marta Lefsky, our planning director, teams with Carolyn Ehrlich to form an incredible 1-2 punch in dealing with economic development here in Woodbridge. I say it all the time. I get on television and get quotes in the newspapers and get my picture in our newsletter every time I throw dirt with a shovel at a groundbreaking or cut a red ribbon at a business opening. But it's the in-between activity that Marta and Carol and their teams handle that is important. They literally hold the hands of companies and businesses to help them navigate not only the Woodbridge system, which is very easy, but also the county, state, and federal government regulations and those of dozens of outside authorities. Time and time again, company owners tell us how easy it is to do business here and how quickly someone can get from an idea to a site plan, to a board approval, to a building permit, to a final inspection, to a grand opening. And we are very, very proud of that. We compete with towns all around us every time a business looks for where to expand or where to locate. And unless we offer a competitive edge in the ease of doing business and a less costly and less lengthy process from start to finish, then these businesses will go elsewhere. Will Marta and the planning department please stand? on, Heather. Come on, Heather. Heather, stand up. Last year saw some outstanding progress in economic development activities throughout Woodbridge Township, and 2018 looks to be even better. Our signature commercial project this year is the huge investment by Arizona Iced Tea, which recently broke ground on a nearly 1 million square foot manufacturing facility in Fords, where they will not only brew tea, but will also manufacture the cans and bottles and package everything for shipment right there. No town in the state that I know of has a manufacturing facility opening within its borders. We have been talking to the company for many years, but the project is finally underway, and it has officially passed the Olive Garden and Woodbridge Center as the project that took the longest to get started. And while on the topic of Woodbridge Center, congratulations to Amy Belisano on being the first location in the state of New Jersey for Dave & Buster's, which has waiting lines practically every night of the week. Thank you, Amy. Cytex just opened a brand new warehouse on Blair Road in Avenel and renovated another. The principal group has started to build a 245,000 square foot warehouse at the corner of Rahway Avenue and Randolph Avenue, which will open this year. The Goodman Group has plans for a new warehouse on the PQ Corporation site in Avenel, and numerous companies have looked at land off Penval Road in Seawarren to try and build more warehouse space there. Penrose Properties finished the financing and is now starting construction of 100 apartment units on Rahway Avenue. 25 of those units will be specifically dedicated to the developmentally disabled population within Woodbridge, and we hope the remaining units will be rented to families and individuals with special needs. Buckeye Pipeline, which bought the Hess Terminal facility, is primed for a major investment of millions of dollars into that business. It was a slight blow to the township when we lost the Hess Corporation as a major taxpayer, and an even bigger blow when their taxable building was sold to the Turnpike Authority, which is exempt from property taxes as a governmental entity. But the investment by Buckeye will much more than make up for that loss. We actually lost our biggest taxpayer, but within a few years we should have more ratables in its place. PSE&G is literally months away from opening the second power plant in Woodbridge next to their Seawarren generating station in an investment worth over $500 million. Not to be outdone, CPV is investigating the feasibility of another power plant right next to their current one in Caseby, which will add another hundreds of millions of dollars of investment in Woodbridge, and we are encouraging them every step of the way. Just imagine 3 power plants producing over $7 million in tax revenues with literally no additional expenses in our annual budgets. Deals like these are why we were able to invest so much into our schools. Additional luxury apartment development is underway around the Metro Park train station, where residents will likely be commuters without school children. Fieldstone Properties invested nearly $150 million in purchasing apartment complexes in Fords, Island, and Menlo Park Terrace, and the company is investing additional millions to renovate those units. People want to live in Woodbridge, and let's face it, who can blame them? Our most visible project, however, and the one we literally started discussions about in 2006, even before taking office, remains Station Village in Avenel. There, the old abandoned General Dynamics plant has been turned into absolutely beautiful apartments, both outside and inside. There will be 500 units, including 50 which will be affordable to meet our state obligations. There will be upscale retail space and the one facility that will be our pride and joy for years to come, a 200-seat theater with a bar restaurant appropriately called Curtains. Carol had the vision for an arts-themed development 11 years ago and has worked literally every day to make this project happen and be successful. A county grant approved by our very own freeholder Charlie Kenny and shepherded through the process by freeholder director and Woodbridge native Ron Rios got this project off the ground. We hired Anthony Wilkinson, an Emmy-winning actor, director, producer, to be the executive and artistic director of the facility, which broke ground just last week. Anthony has literally traveled the country attending seminars and meeting acts and agents and other directors and producers, and he has already begun to fill the calendar with concerts and plays and other shows that will keep the new theater hopping nearly every night of the week. The bar restaurant will be run by the Woodbridge Arts Alliance and will have additional entertainment every single day. Anthony, please stand. We have already begun to see the impact this project has had in Avenel. Route 1 has been and continues to be improved with the Wawa, the Holiday Inn Express, and a new Quick Check and other new retail space at the Big Top site, all of which replace eyesores that nobody was proud of. Dunkin' Donuts, of course, and Wendy's and other recognizable names will soon pop up all along the corridor. Rahway Avenue has seen action also, and the township expects to purchase the 50 acres of land where the former Woodbridge developmental site was located to bring other terrific uses to Avenel. Something that we have never publicly talked about, but which will go down as one of the most important things we ever did in the last decade, was to actually stop the state from using 8 acres of that developmental center site as a youth prison. The state is closing the Jamesburg Home for Boys, and they sought 3 sites where smaller facilities would be constructed for these youths. And one of those sites was Avenel. Last month, we fought this, and we fought it hard. We are already home to the East Jersey State Prison for the last 100 plus years, and to the sex offender unit for more than 20 years. We have done enough. The last thing we need was another prison, literally, in the backyards of our residents in the College Park section of Avenel. I mentioned last year, and will repeat this year, that when a reporter asked me years ago to give him the most important word when it comes to being in politics and government, I said that word was relationships. Well, Carol and I used our relationships that we developed during our 4 years in Trenton, and we forced the state to consider another location for that prison. We worked with Senator Joe Vitale and Assemblyman Craig Coughlin, and in particular with Senate President Steve Sweeney, a true friend of Woodbridge. Senator Sweeney came through big for our township, and we will never forget that. Now we can look at that site for warehouses, or our long-anticipated health care use, or for additional education needs for our students. Anything but a prison. We literally dodged a bullet that would have shot down everything that we've been building up with our work all throughout Avenel. If Senator Sweeney was here right now, I would ask him to stand, but please give him a round of applause anyway. While speaking of our legislators, Senator Joe Vitale and Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin deserve more than just a name mention. Joe will once again serve as chairman of the Health Committee, a position where he can influence policy to protect the most vulnerable citizens in our state with regard to charity care, family care, pharmaceuticals, and food stamps. A few weeks ago, Craig was sworn into the top spot in the State Assembly as Speaker, a position that rewards the respect he has earned in 8 years there, and a position where he is certain to be of great help to his hometown of Woodbridge. I would also like to recognize our newest Assemblywoman, Yvonne Lopez, and thank former Assemblyman John Wisniewski for his 22 years of service. Joe, Craig, Yvonne, and John, thank you all very much. We are working diligently to bring luxury housing projects to downtown Woodbridge. This is certain to be controversial, and we expect to take heat for it from people who don't understand the issue or who just want to be against something. But it is essential that we do it, and we have answers for all of the critics. Towns all around us are building around their greatest asset, their train stations, and we have invested in 2 of our 3 at Metro Park and Avenel. It is time to develop downtown Woodbridge in a similar fashion. It simply has to be done. If we stand idly by, Main Street will turn into a ghost town. Investments have already been made in several locations, with a half-dozen health-themed shops and stores, including the Healthy Smoothie Shop. 2 new sandwich shops have opened, and to operate as a counter to the health craze, a donut shop will soon open near Vito Mazza on Main Street. Opportunities for upscale housing exist across from Town Hall, across from the train station, at the former Riffy site, and behind Berkeley College, among others. Costello's built 16 beautiful apartments and wants to build 40 more, and other smaller developments are in the discussion stage. Hess has not yet completed the sale of their vacant land, but we have every expectation that they will do so shortly, which will provide other opportunities for luxury housing, along with retail and restaurant space. There is simply no reason why we cannot have the best downtown around, and we have the focus and determination to get that done. The Board of Education is close to breaking ground on a new Ross Street school on a site next to the existing school to make sure we have room for any students who move here into our new housing, though we expect to follow national trends which show minimal impact on schools from transit village development. If school children move in, we will welcome them, and we will educate them, and we have room for them, thanks to a referendum that passed overwhelmingly last March. Improvements to our Woodbridge Middle School will complement that project, and the entirety of Woodbridge proper will benefit from these investments and from the housing developments, because people will want to stay in Woodbridge and buy a single-family home when they outgrow their apartments. Property values have risen in Avenel more than the township average because of Station Village, and we expect similar results in Woodbridge proper. We are actively redesigning the downtown traffic flow in anticipation of more activity, and we have eliminated truck traffic from Main Street and Green Street to help that cause. 1 or more parking decks will be constructed downtown to make it easier for new residents and shoppers and diners to park and patronize our local businesses. Downtown development is absolutely necessary in Woodbridge. Our schools can handle it, our infrastructure can handle it, and our future depends on it. We continue our good relationship with the Board of Education and the school district administration. School Board President Jonathan Treebrosser and the board, and Superintendent Dr. Robert Zaga and the administration. We are working diligently to have the old St. Cecilia's building ready by September so it becomes Oak Tree Road School 29, and I thank Chris Costi for his work on that project. Kennedy Park School 24 will move there, and all classes throughout the township where children are bused to schools will now move to Kennedy Park, creating space in all of those schools for full-day kindergarten starting in September, an amenity that we always wanted, and now we have a plan to get it done. Although it's hard to believe, the turf football soccer field at Woodbridge High School is 11 years old. It was the first major investment by the township in our school athletic facilities way back in 2007, and it started what would become an investment of more than $30 million. We will replace that field late this spring and then have 9 turf fields less than 4 years old throughout our township. If you work for our Board of Education or are on the board, please stand. We have dozens of playgrounds at schools and parks throughout Woodbridge, and working with Councilman Greg Ficara and the Wellness Committee, we now are going to make them adult-friendly over the next few years with an investment of workout equipment so parents can get in shape while watching their kids play on the swings and slides. Working with Councilman Brian Small, we have accepted a proposal to allow for bicycle lanes and bike sharing throughout Woodbridge Township, and soon we will be adding electric car charging and sharing stations. Councilman Kyle Anderson is working with us to build a scout camp across from Orals Park to give our Boy and Girl Scouts a chance to stay local for weekend trips while availing themselves of the immense beauty of the park with its lake and its wildlife. Councilwoman Lisbeth De Jesus has adopted the Greenway Family Success Center in Fords, and she constantly attends their functions and helps to advertise their amazing programs for young moms and their children. Each of our ward council people are outstanding representatives of their local business districts and advocates for their downtowns, including Nancy Drum in Woodbridge, Howie Bauer in Fords, Corey Spiller in Avenel and Port Reading, Vera Patel in Island, and Debbie Meehan in Colonia. Businesses in town know their council people and know they can turn to them for help whenever they need it. The Woodbridge Town Council also works closely with us on quality of life issues. Council President Debbie Meehan helps raise money for our food pantries and runs our annual Support the Troops rally, while also advocating for traffic lights in Inman and Delaware and Lake and Lancaster, both in Colonia. Vice President Corey Spiller is helping to advance shuttles to the Avenel train station, and he shepherded our terrific mural project on the underpass there. Nancy Drum promotes our animal shelter and dog park and buy local program. Kyle Anderson helps connect Woodbridge residents with job opportunities and helps run our annual Martin Luther King Day ceremony. Greg Ficara helped bring back our Athletic Hall of Fame and coordinates our bike tour and running events. Lizbeth DeJesus started our Hispanic Heritage Festival and is an advocate for the Woodbridge Police Department's community police officers, Detective Joel Schlossberg and Mark Zeno, and for the Girl Scouts and local girls' athletic programs. Brian Small's career experiences give us another asset in dealing with our fire companies and first aid squad and our schools, and he advocates for state programs like tax deductions for veterans and pension exclusions for seniors. Vera Patel is advocating for commuter parking and safety improvements in his ward. And new Councilman Howie Bauer has hit the ground running to advance former Councilman Rick Delina's agenda while developing his own. On that topic, it is also appropriate to recognize Rick Delina for his 24 dedicated years of service to the Second Ward residents of Fords, Hope, Lawn, and Caseby, and to the entirety of Woodbridge Township as a whole. It was a pleasure to work with Rick for my entire term as mayor, and even many years earlier, way back to 1994. Rick filled his father's shoes very admirably, and he will be missed on the council. The Township Council in Woodbridge is truly a partner with myself as mayor and our entire administration. We work unbelievably well together, and quite frankly, we are all friends, and we all get along, and we all socialize regularly. A lawyer from another town with dozens of municipal clients stopped in at one of our holiday gatherings and saw us laughing and joking together all night and said he has never seen anything like that in local government in his life. To us, it is normal, and I truly appreciate having all 9 of you as teammates and friends. Members of the Town Council, please stand. I'm good, I got it. I would also like to personally thank Chairman Terry Sharkey and the Mayor's Advisory Committee, a group of dedicated individuals who attend just about every event in our town, not as participants, but as volunteers. They love their work, and our activities would not be nearly as safe and successful without them. So thank you to Terry and the entire MAC team. Terry and any members, please stand. All of these events have really branded Woodbridge Township throughout the state of New Jersey. We are the home of the New Jersey Senior Olympics, sponsored by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the St. James Street Fair, the New Jersey Paranormal Expo, the Woodbridge Community Center, dozens of concerts, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, the Indian and Pakistani Day Parades, tooling around the township, our fireworks, our fire departments, first aid squads, and our community emergency response team, CERT, and our domestic violence response team. We are 8 years the Sustainable Jersey champion as crowned by the New Jersey League of Municipalities. We are the only town around with a convenience center for recycling drop-offs. Our animal shelter provides top-notch shelter service to 3 neighboring towns, and our residents safely walk and exercise their dogs in our Seawarren Dog Park. We are also known for our VFWs and our American Legions and the Reinhardt Detachment of the Marine Corps League, our Veterans Alliance, and our Veterans Parade, the Oros Wildlife Preserve, our community days in Avenel and Port Reading, our fields, tracks, courts, parks, and playgrounds, the Taste of Woodbridge, and the Taste of Colonia. We are proud of our Have a Heart food drive, which, by the way, is in process, and we hope to beat last year's 32,000 pounds of food and $26,000 in cash contributions. And we're proud of our senior tax program staffed by volunteers. This State of the Township address highlights all of the reasons why Woodbridge is such a great town to live in, a great town to grow up in, a great town to age gracefully in, and a great town to visit, to work, shop, dine, and recreate. We are the smallest big town in New Jersey, and we're the biggest small town in the state. Over 100,000 people seem to all know each other through our churches, our civic groups, our charitable organizations, our sports leagues, and our community groups. And even if someone from one end of the town does not know someone from the other end, they both certainly know by now that they have one very important trait in common. They both live in the best town around. Thank you.
Mayor McCormick, on behalf of the Woodbridge Board of Directors and the membership of the Metro Chamber of Commerce, it's my pleasure to present you with this gift.
Okay, thank you.
Bubble wrap.
Woodbridge, it's a map of Woodbridge on a little mural thing here. Whatever.
Thank you, Mayor McCormick. At this time, I'd like to thank the member of the Board of Directors, someone very special to our organization who gave a lot of time and knowledge and so forth. He was not able to be at our holiday luncheon. So at this time, I'd like to thank, and the Board of Directors would like to let you know how much we appreciate your service to the board and to the town. Mr. Lee Vetlin. Lee, if you could stand up. Lee's Auto Body, important plug. Lee retired from our board after 20 years. So, thank you, Lee. Thank you all for coming. We hope that we see you at our upcoming network events, March 15th for the Women's Leadership Connection. Again, a reminder, don't forget to drop your business card in for the Woodbridge Community Center ad, and have a wonderful, blessed, and safe day. Thank you.